Thank you guys so much for tuning in here at King Solomon Entertainment. Another wonderful video for today, another interview today here on KS Gospel. As you can see, we have an amazing guest. But before we do that, we're going to say, make sure you guys share, follow, subscribe. We want to hear from you, the comments, hit the notification button, share this link. You know, it's going to be another major interview here on KS Gospel. Another great, amazing talent, another great, amazing artist that you can see. We're going to get right into it. And thank you guys so much for all the support and all the love. Before we get started, a wonderful artist, as you guys can see on the screen. I've known her from the very beginning. When we first heard of her with the Walt Whitman and Soul in Chicago. She sung with amazing groups like the Thompson's Community Singers, Donald Lawrence, amazing solo project on her own, amazing gospel artist, vocal arranger, minister of music. We have today with us, Miss Kim McFarland.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I had to get it out. I'm like, how I'm going to introduce you guys so much. I got to introduce her.
That was a mouthful.
And, you know, Chicago right here, man. I love you so much. And thank you so much for doing this platform. We're going to get right into it. Let our people know, artists know who Kim McFarland is, where she's from, and take us to the beginning.
Kim McFarland is a child of God.
Yes.
The fourth child of 6. I am married for 29 years, happily married for 29 years to my Boaz, Chris Anderson. I have 2 stepchildren, well, 2 bonus children. My son, George, who passed away about 10 years ago, and then my daughter, LaDonna, and I am a grandmother and now a great-grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Singer, vocal arranger, started singing, grew up on the west side of Chicago under the tutelage of my dad, the late Pastor T.H. McFarland Sr., and I am a member of the Unity Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, where I serve as a minister of music. I am a Chicago Soul Children alumni. I am a Thompson Community Singers alumni, and I currently sing and travel with Donald Lawrence and Company.
Wow. No, that's amazing. No, you've been with the top tier groups. Your sound, everything has been amazing, and that's another thing. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. You from that was another thing, and we love our West Side people, you know, and West Side love the South Side. But you know how we used to, if you can sing, we coming. So
Yeah.
We come from all over, and I can remember as a kid, we going to that West Side, we going to Christ Tabernacle, we going to that.
Yes.
I can never forget the youth choir that I sung with had the privilege of going to Christ Temple. I believe Pastor Milton Bronson Church was named Christ Tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember we was going there as a kid, and he had the guest choir standing where you guys sit. And when you came down and sung that song live, like when it first came out, to see you sing it live, I was like, just blew me away. That sound, it was amazing. I'll never forget it. It was this amazing experience that you guys gave to us, you know, saying that was inspiring to us for us to be there as younger. You guys were doing your thing, you know, and so it was amazing to experience that years ago. But just your sound in general, when did you know? I know you say you started in the church with your father, but when did you know, like, your sound was just amazing? Not just being able to have talent as far as singing, because, you know, a lot of people grew up in the church and that's just what we did, but your sound, nobody never heard the sound that you had when coming up, you know, back then. Nobody had heard, even to this day, I don't know who had that sound.
Well, there are Several female artists that I listened to and that I studied as a young person. Um, First, starting off was as a kid, it was Minnie Rippleton,
Mm,
Denise Williams,
mm,
um, the Clark sisters, um, Nessa Bell Armstrong, Yolanda Adams, um, yeah, Anita Baker. Did I say Anita Baker? Anita Baker. Love me some Anita Baker. But those were the heavy uh,
mm,
influences on my style.
mm,
Um, and just over the years of learning my voice, learning and just coming into my, and I think, even though you study these people, eventually you come into you develop your own style or
yeah,
your own sound. And that's what happened with me, because I still, love all of them, still follow them. I cried like a baby when Minnie Rippleton passed. I cried like a baby, and I was a little girl then. What was it, like 8 or 9 years old, I believe, when she passed, and I cried like a baby.
yeah,
Would have thought she was my auntie. To the
yeah,
point where I remember when she passed, my dad had to come and sit me down and tell me about life.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah. But and then of course the biggest influence in my house was my dad.
yes.
My father was pastored on the west side of Chicago, and when I was like 3 or 4 years old, my dad would sit me on the kitchen counter. Of course, he's pastor of the Unity Fellowship Baptist Church at that time. And, growing up Baptist, you have what's called the hoop. And
Mm,
so my dad would teach me how to hoop. He would tell me, come on, pull it. Mm, come on, tune it. Come on, say yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Come on, say yeah, yeah. Now yank it, yeah.
yeah. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's amazing because all of that amalgamation, as far as talent and all your influences, you still definitely came into your own. So when did you start to believe it though? Because I know from the sound, it's like, okay, yeah, you can develop your own style, you sound amazing. But when people are like, no, you sound really amazing, like you sound really good. When did you begin to receive and believe that?
I began to believe and receive that my first solo engagement when somebody actually asked me, "Can you come and sing?" And I'm gonna tell you who it was. It was Angela, pastor. She's now Pastor Angela Spivey.
Absolutely.
At
Another West Side,
12
West Side veteran.
West Side, yes. That was my very first solo, and I sang song. I got a new name
Mm,
over in glory, and it's mine, mine, mine. That was my sule, my solo.
yeah,
Yep.
First Corinthians, right? Corinthians church, right? Fuck
First
that.
Corinthians, her dad's church. At
Yeah,
that time, her daddy was pastoring.
I
Yeah.
did. Wow. Now this is some history right here because again, you knew all those churches that were doing their thing. Because I know it when I was a kid coming out, they had the live broadcast, and it's like everybody had one that was on radio back then, and you
Mhm.
take everybody, but you was trying to get to as many as you could because
Yes.
simultaneously, you know what I'm saying? But and those were also the people that brought the well-known acts to town as well.
Exactly. Hmm.
It was just an amazing time. It was just so much talent. And you guys were definitely in that number. And it was just amazing. I can remember that as a kid. Like you guys were definitely doing your thing. So please take us to the opportunity you got with this Walt Whitman and Social in Chicago. Was you a member of the group? Did they call you to do the solo? Like, how did that happen?
So I was going into my sophomore year of high school, and there was a lady that grew up at my home church. She had gotten into like some artist management, and she had came back and visited the church because she had changed her membership to another church, and she came back and she heard me sing, and so she went to my mother and said, "Hey, I know of this youth choir. It's called the Chicago. At that time, it was Chicago Soul Children."
Mm,
And she said, "I think that would be a good fit for Kim." Of course, my mother immediately no.
mm,
She said no. And then she actually, her name was Darlene Yancey, and she actually went to Reverend Williams, who's my stepfather. And he said, and he was pastor of our church at that time, because my dad had passed away. And so he became anyway, he became pastor and then he married my mom. Okay.
okay.
So anyway, she went to him and said, "Can you talk to your wife? I think, the choir would be a good fit for her. She's very talented, And so he knew Walter because they grew up at New Covenant together.
Mm,
So he knew him, and he went to my mother, talked to her, and convinced her to let me audition. And I went that day and auditioned, and I got in immediately.
well,
Like that day, it was like, come back to rehearsal next week.
absolutely, absolutely. I only know one new covenant. That's Pastor Thurston Church.
Yes,
Yes, Thurston.
Reverend Thurston is my stepfather's cousin.
I know my Chicago church history. I know.
Yes.
And Thurston, the other one we got is amazing pastor, Pastor
Yes.
Thurston. And so you became a member at the first audition right away. So what was that like? Because everybody's social experience is different. And I know as the years went on, he become more and more prominent. But even then, he produced amazing children that so much talent. A lot of people started wanting to go because what you guys was doing early on was
Yeah.
a phenomenal.
Well, it was a little that first initial day, it was shaky because not everyone was at the audition. So it
Mm,
was a little intimidating because here I am the only person from
mm.
the west side of Chicago.
They used to rehearse on the south side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Which is a culture shock. A lot of people we talk the west side, south side, north side. A lot of people don't know is it's just culturally different. You know what I'm saying? But we
it's
definitely the same, but we're different. And people from Chicago, we know that difference and we respect that difference.
yes.
Respect
Yeah.
is, but sometimes people will try you. But I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
So I yeah, traveling
Yeah,
from the west side to the south side. I was very nervous.
yeah.
Um and I kind of there was one girl,
Mm,
her name was Shannon Hampton,
mm,
that she was at my audition. As a matter of fact, she was a part of the audition, and she was the one that embraced me immediately the day of the audition. And when I came back, she was like sitting next to me. She was introducing me to everybody. Of course, um, it takes a minute for people to warm up to
absolutely.
you, but once they warm up, I mean, we're still family.
No, it's amazing. Amazing.
We're still family, and we still keep in contact. We have a alumni connection and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, so back then it was a little,
Touch and go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but it was what I wanted to do, and I was excited to be a part of it. So, you know, I could have very easily said to my mother, I don't want to go back, but I didn't. I stayed there. So
amazing. And
yeah.
so, how did you get to now? Is he get the first project? He get the deal to do the record, and then all the songs come up. As far as I know, then because I know Walter do like a workshop oriented rehearsal. I'm sure there was auditions for that solo, and so unless he just had you in mind automatically, because I'm
I
like beat out to get that.
didn't I didn't have to audition.
See, so he had you in mind. Yeah, that sound was nobody else. It was amazing because he knew already you would have to sing that song.
I didn't have to audition.
See, yeah, because you knew how it goes. You have to audition with other people from
Yeah.
find the best, be the best person win. But that's how intense being with soul children are when you have to audition. But people like somebody like you that stands out, we like, oh yeah, Kim got it. You got to give it to Kim because some people already. Oh yeah, Kim has it. So that was amazing. So what was it like recording that song? And then when the song comes out, it's as big as it is. What was that like? Being so young.
Um, it was good. It was a great experience. And so I have to tell this part in order to talk about how amazing it was to have We Are One. So we recorded the We Are One project in um, October of 87.
Mm,
In January of 88, I left the Soul Children because I was too old. At that time, I was 18. And the age was, at that time, it was 7 to 17.
right.
I had overstayed my welcome.
Gotcha.
So I left. He wasn't happy, but I left. And it was good that I left because it opened up opportunities for other kids,
Yeah.
to come behind me, which and when Walter had his mind set on who was supposed to sing, they're singing, but you got all of these other singers younger than me, but are powerful. And
Yeah.
had I been there, you all probably never would have heard Jamie Simon, who ended up singing We Are One because I wasn't there. So a lot of people thought that Jamie sang it.
Yes.
They thought that he was the lead singer, but he wasn't. It was me.
Right. No, it was amazing. And so
Right.
even you saying that for those who know how it works, they're saying, well, he would have because 7 to 17 or 10 to 17, whatever the age was, he was willing to make an exception for you because you were so talented. You could have actually stayed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
And so I chose to
move forward.
move forward.
Yeah.
Um Moving forward, April of 88, I joined the Thompson Community
Now
Singers.
the rumor about that was that they discovered you because of the Soul Children. Now, how did that go?
Well, so let me tell you, my father and Reverend Bronson were very good friends. They're pastors on the west side of Chicago. We were in the same, National Baptist district and everything. So they were good. They were really good friends.
Gotcha.
Reverend Bronson asked my father if I could get into Soul Children when I was uh, 13. But my father said I was too young.
Got you.
But because I had started singing around the city doing solos,
Got you.
Reverend Bronson heard about me, and um, the door for me to join was always open.
Mm,
And when we went to my best friend Devline Parson went
mm,
to a concert. Um, we went to one of the Tommy's concerts, and after that, she said, "Hey," she said, "let's join the Tommy." She said, um, they start at age 18.
mm.
And so we went to rehearsal in April and we joined the Tommies of 88. And in June of 88, we recorded the Available to You project.
Wow.
And on the Available to You project is when I recorded For the Good of Them.
Wow, that makes sense. Nobody said thanks for clearing that up because we only was able to speculate because we hear you at We Are One. Then next thing you know, you with the Tommies. Be like, what? Like, I'd be like, it's in our mind, Milton Bronson would have snatched you up from walk, and then now he.
Right. And I actually, even though Reverend Bronson knew my father, he knew Devlon's father because her father, you may know him, Dr. Donald L. Parson,
Yeah.
pastors on the South Side. He knew both of our fathers.
Yes.
He told us we didn't have to audition
Mm,
because he knew that we could sing.
right.
But for the sake of the people or the choir members that was there, he just said, just sing a solo.
Right.
So I sang a solo, Devlon sang a solo, and we were in. We were already in. So, but anyway, so what happened was We Are One and For the Good of Them were on the radio at the same time.
What? See, I didn't know that.
Yes. So it was all of the I guess back then they were DJs, but they would play We Are One and then For the Good of Them back to back
Yes.
all across the country.
And both of those songs remained popular for a very long time. Even to
Yeah,
people always play. They would never get old. People always want to hear those songs.
yeah.
Always.
So that was just a total blessing, and it was a shock to hear, not just one song, but to have two songs that were heavy hits,
Yeah.
back to back.
Changed your life, right? It kind of changed.
It did. It changed my life.
Yeah,
Changed my life.
it
And
did.
yeah, so I didn't look back.
Yeah. And we loved every minute of it because I'm telling you, if you was fortunate to have anybody in your choir that could sing that song, they sung it. But most of the times, like, no, you can't sing that. There would be no lead to that song. You won't be embarrassing us because you cannot sing it like Kim said.
Oh my goodness.
So
They
no,
just have to take it and make it their own. That's all.
that was not easy to do. So now you went Reverend Milton Bronson, and of course we all know Devline. You know the times, you know Devline. Some of you guys just are popular all around the city, and Devline one of the ones that everybody knew. A couple of tenors that used to come and get the groups. Cause I think we got invited from one of the tenors that used to go and get the group to come to sing. So we knew a lot of the pop people that was in the Tommies, and Devline was one. And now you with Reverend Milton Bronson with the Tommies, and now you're touring with the Tommies, and for the good of them is out, and now your life is just, you also as a solo, you also saw a solo artist as well as singing with the Tommies as well, right?
Yes. So my last year in the Tommies, which was 93, I
Mm,
believe it was 93, I was starting to work on my solo project.
got you. Now,
And that was released, my which is entitled New Life. That
new,
was released in 94, the top of 94 it was released. And so under CGI Records,
yeah, yes.
which was produced by at the time my my husband, but at the time was my boyfriend Chris Anderson, and co-produced by Kevin Bronson.
Oh, okay. That's really good. Yeah, because your husband also a well-known musician as well. Everybody know your
Yeah,
husband well. And so let's briefly talk about the Tommies as far as for the good of them. Then the Just Axe was just as great, and another song. But
okay.
because what's the
I
other one?
tried him and I know him.
I tried them and I know them. And those was just all favorite songs of ours because you sang them and they were great. But for the good of them was so popular. It was such a hit.
Yeah,
It's like them other songs probably didn't reach as much popularity as far as charting, but they were definitely songs we love to hear you sing.
yeah.
Yeah. So that what was that like? Because it was like, was you trying to get another for the good of them?
No, you know what? It was just whatever Darius Brooks or Percy Beatty wrote, and
No.
if they felt like the there was a lead,
Yeah.
a voice that could match that song,
Yeah.
that's who, they presented it to.
Yeah.
Now for the good of them, um, because I was new in the choir, they had everybody auditioning.
See.
And I didn't get up to audition.
Mm,
Reverend pulled me up and said, "Hey, let Kimberly try this." That's how he called my name, Kimberly.
mm.
Let Kimberly try this song. And so
No, I
got
don't know
up.
how intense that is. I know you sweeping through it, but a lot of people don't know how intense that is. Like you said, so many gifted singers in Chicago, so much talent, and
Mhm.
we just sit back just wait like may the best person win because somebody gonna come in here and kill it, and then it's gonna be over. So that's just how it was every time, and I can only
Yeah.
imagine what it's like in the Tommy's rehearsal. And so when you got down there and sung that song, like
Yeah,
that,
and at that time, the day when we were auditioning for it, there was not a verse. It was just a
mm,
chorus. No
mm,
matter what the problem, You can solve them. So, everybody got up and
Did they own chosen ad libs of the verse?
yes.
Okay, and you
And
came.
so,
Oh wow!
and
So
so-
and what you put out as a verse, that was you,
no, 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 no. Rev Once they established who was going to lead, which was me,
right?
because Reverend said, give Kimberly that song.
Right.
So after that, that's when they came and got the verses together.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
Yeah. So that's how that went. But yeah, it was a chorus for the long time. And they sang it at Third Sunday Music for a long time. Third
Wow.
Sunday musicals.
Yeah, Thursday.
That's all it was. No
Yeah.
matter what the problem for like a couple of months. And then when it came time for the recording and they got all their leads, then that's when they developed the Darius wrote the verses.
There's also Darius Brooks is an amazing songwriter.
Yes.
Amazing songwriter. It just so much. It was just so much talent, and we had the privilege of having access to such great talent in Chicago. And going to the West Side, you guys was really like the creme de la creme on that West Side because we all the way over there just to see you guys do your thing, and it was just an amazing time. And we were so lucky to have and privileged to have you guys showing us what to do. That's because we wanted to follow in your footsteps because you guys was definitely the blueprint to that. And so going to the solo, from Tommy's to the solo, New Life, amazing.
Yeah.
What was that like as a solo artist? Now you're a solo artist. Now you're touring. Now you're an artist. It's all about you.
Um, it was scary because I was in my early 20s
Mm,
and you have to you I had to become an artist.
mm,
That was not something, excuse me, that was taught. That was something that you had to learn on your own. Um, there was no artist development at
right,
that time.
right.
It was basically, okay, you've done this recording. Now you got to get out there and work it.
Yeah,
Um, which is why I appreciate now that they, offer artist development.
yes,
But yeah, it was a great experience. And I thank God for it. I thank God for that journey. Because everything that happened back then brought me to where I am today.
yes. Now you have a current project out. That is my promise continues, and that I win. That I win is doing very well. That's the latest project. So from amazing to now, why did you want to put out more music? Why haven't you put out projects in between that time?
Um, going through life,
Hmm.
going through life and um not sure of and you can say that you love God and you trust him and but your actions is what speak and I'll be honest, I allowed fear to keep me from pursuing my destiny.
Mm,
And that's what it was, and I have to be honest. I allowed fear to keep me from pursuing my destiny, pursuing the calling that's on my life, because I was afraid of failure, afraid that I was not good enough, afraid they're not gonna like me, and everything. So I allowed that to hold me back.
mm.
Um, and I just really had to really trust God.
So what? Because like I said, it happened for you so early. You were so young. Then you get two solo projects as a result of it. So where did the fear kick in? Because so far it seemed like you on the roll there.
there was a hurting situation that happened,
Got you. Got you.
and I'd rather not delve into it.
No, no, no. I
But
understand. No,
there was a hurting situation, a disappointing situation, and at that time I did not have thick skin to handle it.
yeah, that this is label oriented or fellow artist oriented. This is give us some type of structure, context, label art.
Um, I'd rather not.
Okay, that's too much. Deep. Okay.
I'd rather not.
So it's a behind the scenes type of issue.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
behind the scenes type of issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Administrative, probably.
Yeah. You really trying to dig. I ain't gonna tell you what it is.
Uh, just
But no, and I allowed that to consume
mm-hmm.
me, to dictate to me um what it is that I should be doing, instead of me leaning and depending on God and trusting his promises to me. And so I, just kind of step back, and I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just gonna, sing in my church choir and be done with it. Now I'm still out singing all this time though. I'm still out singing, doing singing engagements,
Yeah,
and
still book.
getting never stop traveling.
Yeah,
Still getting phone calls, but not
new music.
sing any new music.
Mm.
And it was my mother who had kept telling me, it's time for you to do.
Another project.
She was like, you gotta do your own music. You're doing everybody else's music. You
Yeah.
have to do your own music. She said it's time.
Yes.
And right when I decided I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. It was 2021, and it was like the fall of 2021. And we started scheduling studio time and trying to set it up to go in. My mother got ill.
Mm.
And not knowing that when she got ill, it was it would, lead up to her transitioning.
Mm.
Um, but I remember telling my mother that hey mom, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. She said it was about, it's about time. It's about time. You should have been there. Of course, mama, you should have been there. But she was happy, that I was, making those steps forward. But in the midst of that, we lost her last March 1st of 2022.
Oh, my condolences. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you so much. But yeah, she's in a better place. She ain't suffering no more, so we good. But yeah, so
I making music.
my goal was to honor my word that I gave her,
Yes.
that I would do, go ahead and put this music out. It was a struggle. It was a struggle, but I remember I kept uh listening to the song that Tweet did. Tweet
Mm.
recorded, and the song that says, I was created for this.
Mm.
And in me listening to that song influenced my single, um, which is Jesus Paid It All.
You just pay it all.
And because if you listen, it has a very, it's a very urban vibe to it, a very neo soul vibe to it. And Tweet was my mother's, like, my mother loved Tweet. So that also gave me comfort, because I would listen to that and I could just hear my mother having this whole conversation about, oh, that girl knows she could sing. Ooh, she could sing, she could sing. She sound like you, Kim.
Mhm.
And she, because she said it to me one like years ago. She said, "Y'all need to do something. Do you know how y'all need to do something like that?" No, man.
Definitely has a beautiful. When you hear it, you know it's sweet. Just like
Yes.
here, you know it's you. It's like a sound to it, definitely your own sound. So it's amazing. But wow, that's an amazing story. And so now that you're back recording, you're back releasing music, everything is coming back together. So what's next for Kim McFarland?
um, I'm looking forward to continuing to do music, continuing to um sing, minister, perform, travel, sing, minister, perform, travel, sing, minister, perform. Um, Hopefully a tour will be coming up soon. Um, and we'll be working on some things, working on um video for the music and all of that good stuff. So yeah, we're not stopping.
No, it's amazing. It's
We got big shoulders now, so
still going strong and still sound amazing. And even though as older we get, our voices do change. But even with your voice changing, I'm talking about, and Walter was on this platform. I even told Walter, he came on the platform because I seen him at the Stellars in Vegas, and I told him on the interview I did with him, I say, Kim, even today, Kim is still, it's like you hear her sing, she's amazing. I don't know what she be drinking or what, but she still is like tearing it up. And he said, yeah, she's a beast, she's crazy. Yeah. What do that come from? Because I seen the clip of this because you did the gospel fest in Chicago every year. One of the recordings you was singing it. I'm like, what is she doing? Like what? Just kept going and going. I'm like, what is she doing? No, I'm telling you, just mess people all the way up, man. I'm telling you. What did that
it's
come
all
from?
God. It's all
Yeah.
God, and
But you mentioned you're a vocal arranger. That also, I think, technique because you're a vocal arranger, you're a teacher too. So it's like, is that you just implementing something that you learned as a vocal arranger? Like, what are you doing there?
well, basically, so I over the years I've learned my voice. I've
Hmm.
learned what I can do. I learned, okay, you can push here, and I can feel my voice pulling.
Hmm.
And so when I feel my voice pulling, that's when I pull back.
Hmm.
It's like, and again, it takes time for you to learn your voice, learn to what you can do and what you can't do. Um, but yeah, so and then it's God, and
Absolutely.
I do rest my voice a lot. I'm not um very like always on the phone talking loud and
Yeah.
laughing out loud and all that kind of stuff. Increase my water intake.
Yeah.
um and I just began this journey of, I started 21 days of no sugars and no junk
Yeah.
food and all that kind of stuff. So today is day 14, and but I told my husband, I said, I'm staying here. I'm not going back,
Yeah.
because I noticed that my voice is stronger,
Hmm.
and that rasp is almost gone. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna continue this journey here. Um, but yeah, and then really rest. Just
Yeah.
rest
For,
your
for
vocal.
conversation, the rasp is good though. We like the rasp,
We
but
like the rasp, but you can't get them. You can't get them
yeah.
sweeties when you raspy.
But and also you work with Down the Line. What was that like? Working with Down the Line because that's an amazing too. And I think when you sung, I think you sung the what was that song? The Secret. Uh, when I was in the spirit,
No, no, that's not me. I did with Donald. I led the I Am Factor,
the I Am Factor,
and I did a duet with Dante Hall.
Dante Hall.
When the battle was over.
And that is all. But you sung publicly as a solo somewhere. You sung in the spirit. You sung that song before in public.
Oh yes, oh yes,
Ooh,
that's one of my favorite songs.
man.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's
I know
one.
that song now. I know. I'm like, you
Yeah.
sung that, you sung that song. So, sing with Donald was amazing. That been
Mhm.
the with Donald Lawrence. Try in company. Donald Lawrence company.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's still traveling with them.
And what you learned from working with Donald? Like he's just forced all by himself. What have you learned working with Donald?
Donald comes with a totally different um artistic approach with music. Um he comes with the accents, just the style and how to form your words and coloring the words with your voice and the different dynamics and how to accent a certain word, put, how to make that is he has it's like a double L sound. It's this when you're singing, and it's just he's very creative.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sit there and you listen, it's like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah. That's why it sounds like that. And
Yeah.
that's why, or certain words that if it starts with the vowel, you put the H in front of it, just to make it more, even more, what is the word I'm looking for? Well, anyway, but
Yeah.
it just makes that word more powerful and passionate,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Emphasis on it, more diction. All of that'd be amazing like that. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention the great Reverend Milton Bronson. I know you mentioned him briefly. He was a good friend of your family. But what was the one thing, being so young, being around him all the time, that you learned from Reverend Milton Bronson?
Oh, I was spoiled. I was the brat. I was the baby in the choir, so I
Yeah,
was spoiled. But Reverend Bronson taught all of us actually how to capture the audience with the song. And I never forget, we were in rehearsal, and I can't remember who was up leading a song, and he said, if you're not going to sell the song, let me know and I'll get somebody else to lead it. And it was like, whoa, and so basically it's like you have to give your all when you get up there, lay your all on the altar. But no, so yeah, he basically taught us how to quote unquote sell a song, and always capturing the audience attention. Um and just and he also taught us how to be touchable as well. A lot of times you have artists that when they sing, they go to the back and they leave. Reverend Bronson always made us go out and connect with the people in the audience and in the congregation. We had to go. He literally would, hey, go out there. They want to meet you all. Go out there, greet them. These are the people that are buying your projects.
yeah,
So you go out there, and because of that, we were able to meet people that we have been friends for like what,
yeah.
30 over 30 years now.
All the touch of art development right there. He was giving you. I didn't even know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Crazy. No, it's been amazing watching you throughout the years, and like I say, being from Chicago was so nostalgic for me, and the history, and just experiencing it, and yeah, I just been, around, and I just miss witnessed it firsthand, and it just always been an honor and a privilege, and to see you do your thing, and to really enjoy your talent and your God's gifting, and it's just amazing. And I just wish you all the best in everything that you decide to do moving forward. We're so glad you're back doing music. I'm so glad that you did the platform and all these amazing things. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there. There you go, guys. Make sure you guys share this link. Make sure you guys support us directly right there across the screen. Click the link, share, subscribe. And we thank you guys until next time. King Solomon Entertainment here on KS Gospel. Thank you guys. Till next time. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.